Hi guys, Erin Latimer here. Today I wanted to talk to you about the simple steps to getting a literary agent. And I don't mean that the steps are simple because it takes a lot of work and a lot of research, but I mean I'm going to keep this simple so it's not like an hour-long video. First off, I want to sort of lay to rest one misconception that I hear a lot. I get asked this a lot. How do I hire a literary agent? Or where do I go to hire one? Or the thing is, literary agents are not like lawyers. You don't hire them. You don't pay them by the hour. You don't pay them at all unless you get paid. Literary agents work on commission. So if you have a literary agent asking you for money, you should run the other way because it's probably a scam. So step number one to getting a literary agent is obviously write the novel first. No novel, no literary agent is usually the case unless you are an expert in your field and you are sending them a book proposal. So step one is finish the novel, make sure it's complete and polished. You do not query anything until you are finished it. That is rule number one. And if you break it, you're going to tick off a lot of literary agents who eventually will request your book and then wonder why the heck you're querying it when you tell them it's not finished. Finish it, polish it. When you think it's perfect, then send it out to beta readers. If you're not sure what a beta reader is, it's somebody that reads your entire manuscript and picks through it. If they have to, they tear it apart so that you can put it back together and make it perfect. If you're not sure where to find serious beta readers, I would suggest going to absolutewrite.com. They're serious about their craft, they're good at what they do, and they'll rip your manuscript apart for you and help you make it perfect. And you can make great friends there as well. I actually met Kelly, my fellow word nerd, on absolutewrite.com. So remember, step number 3 is beta readers. Don't skip this because by the time you've gone through your manuscript 3 or 4 times, your eyeballs are glassed over and you don't recognize the flaws in your own writing. You need other people to comb through the manuscript for you to find problem areas. Step number 4 is query letters, and I don't mean just jot down a query letter and start sending them off. I mean start learning how to write a query letter. Before you send out your first query letter, you should at least do 4 or 5 days of research and learn to write the perfect query letter. I suggest going to Query Shark. Literary agent Janet Reed is ripping apart query letters on her website, and it is an education, I'll tell you. That is where you'll learn how to write a query letter and, more importantly, how not to write a query letter. There are plenty of mistakes you can make while you're writing query letters that will just get your manuscript thrown in the trash right off the bat, and it's easy to avoid making these mistakes if you just do a little research. After you think you have mastered the art of query letters, put together lists of agents that take what you are wanting to send out. So if you have a paranormal romance, research agents and make sure that they're taking paranormal romances before you send out your query letters. Sending out query letters to agents that only represent, for example, nonfiction is simply wasting your time and the agent's time. If you go to a place like querytracker.com, not only can you find lists of agents that will take exactly what you're sending out, but you can keep track of the agents that you've sent it to and their responses, as well as seeing lists of other people saying what the typical response time for these agents are. It's a great tool for when you're in the midst of querying because it can get a little bit hectic when you're sending out 50 or 60 query letters. You can lose track of who you sent what to. Hopefully you'll get to step 5 and an agent will request what's called a partial. So they want a part of your manuscript. They might write back and ask you for the first 3 chapters. After that, hopefully you get step 6, which is a request for a full manuscript. Hopefully you reach the step after that, which is getting a call from an agent with an offer of representation. In that case, you will tell the agent, if you have fulls or partials out with other agents, you'll give them 3 or 4 weeks in which to decide. And that's just a normal thing that you'll do. Everyone does that. It's respectful to the other agents that you might have your manuscript out with. If you have your full manuscript out with an agent or more than one agent, I suggest making a list of questions that you want to ask that agent should they contact you. There is nothing more exciting than getting that phone call from an agent to offer you representation. So if you don't have a list of questions written out, you probably won't remember to ask them. So that's the process of trying to get a literary agent all the way from step 1, writing a book, to the last step of an offer of representation. in as little time as I could cram it into. If you have any comments or questions you feel I haven't covered, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer. If you found this video informative, please don't hesitate to subscribe to the Word Nerds vlog. I will leave all the links for Query Tracker and AbsoluteWrite.com and everything else I mentioned in the video in the doohickey below. Thank you for watching, fellow Word Nerds, and I will see you next week.